You tuned into the 7-Day Theory. Hard body, hard spirit.
What up, y'all? You tuned into the 7-Day Theory. Day 1 here. Hard body, hard spirit. Check this. Joe Budden. Tell us how you really feel. Joe, tell us how you really feel. Joe Budden slammed, violated, went in on Drake, and really told the truth about how he really feels about Drake. And he was on his podcast on the Patreon. You had to be a member to view this episode. It's not out on YouTube yet, but they were speaking about Drake suing UMG. And I'm gonna put it up, and I'm gonna read y'all the quote of what Joe Budden said about Drake. Quote, "Or he's a selfish, lying, manipulative sack of shit who has made enemies for 15 years. And now we're here at the fucking boiling point. You've been behind the scenes being the biggest sack of shit you can possibly be. And he's fucking white. And he's Jewish. And he had too much dip on his chip. You have been behind the scenes hitting niggas' baby moms, sending messages to this nigga's wife, dog. This nigga has been a sack of shit behind the scenes. And because he has fans and he had Lucius, everybody just gets to turn a blind eye. The blind eye days are done." End quote. So, if y'all don't know, Joe Budden and Drake, their beef goes back all the way to over almost 10 years ago now. It was in 2016. Drake dropped Views. He dropped the album Views. Joe Budden had a podcast then. It was called something different, but he had a podcast. He spoke of that album, and he pretty much said the songs sound good, but he sounds uninspired. He said 40, Drake's producer, he said 40, you're growing, you sound great, but Drake, I don't see no growth. That's all he said. So then Drake responds with a little snippet of him and French Montana. French Montana put a little snippet of a song, and you could hear Drake saying, "Pump it up." So he put out that little snippet, and then Joe Budden just lost it. He dropped like 4 diss tracks. Drake never really responded. He responded a little bit in 4 p.m. in Calabasas. That song he talks about Joe Budden in that song. That's like the only song that he actually responded to Joe, because Joe was dropping disses after disses, and he wasn't responding. But he responded. He talked about his relationship with Tahiri. That's when Joe Budden was with Tahiri and all that love and hip hop shit. And but after that, Drake never really responded. But so Joe has been critical of Drake from since almost 10 years ago now. So we know Joe don't like Drake. Like Joe is definitely in his feelings about Drake. And look, he says Drake, and if this is true about Drake, yeah, he is a piece of shit. If he's like hitting niggas' baby moms, sending people's wives messages, trying to, he's pretty much saying Drake is Trey Songz. He's Mr. Steal Your Girl. Like, don't bring your girl around Drake, because he gonna try her. That's who Drake is. If these accusations are true, which I think there is some truth in this, because look, the whole industry has been going against Drake with Rick Ross, Metro, Future, The Weeknd, Kendrick, and the reason why, when that beef first started, the reason why that people were saying why they're mad at Drake and why they're even against Drake was accusations, the same accusations Joe is making right now, that he's like, he tries to get with people's girls, he tries to hit people's wives, DM, all in wives and girlfriends DMs. So if this is true, look, I get it. Because in the industry, if you meet somebody and you think y'all cool, y'all think y'all getting cool, and then y'all leave, and then a week later he DMing your girl, that's some foul shit. So I get where Joe's coming from, but Joe has a bad taste in his mouth from Drake, and from him not getting the response and not getting the reaction he wanted from his diss tracks. Like, I can't even name any of the diss tracks that Joe Budden put out. They didn't blow up. The beef really wasn't nothing, because it was just one person rapping about another person. It wasn't really a battle for real. So he never really. And plus, I think Drake or Joe's a little bit jealous of Drake, that Drake really made it and had the success in the music business and that Joe didn't have. Joe had like 1 or 2 hits. He had that Pump It Up, that one up. I was bumping that shit back on 106 in Park. That it was on heavy rotation back then when Pump It Up dropped. But after that, it was like really nothing. You know, he had some album stuff. He's a good lyricist, but as far as hits and success, he never really had that. So I think there's a little bit of jealousy going on with Joe for real. And then Joe calls him. He calls him white. He calls him Jewish. First of all, I don't know what that got to do with anything that Joe was talking about. Drake is black. Drake is biracial. If y'all don't, I'm also biracial. So all the and look, Joe, he's like 1 shade darker than Drake. They both look like they could have the same daddy or in the same mom. They don't look that damn much different. So for Joe to say that he's white and try to put it as a diss or he's Jewish, like he's not a black man, he's a black man. This is America. I hate that we try to banish people. Our community tries to banish people if they're not banished, but like I will say not include people if they're biracial. But we're just as black as anybody else. Black people come in all shades and all colors. Even we albino. We even got albinos. So him being the fact that he's white, I feel like it had nothing to do with it because Drake ain't white. He's biracial. He's black. He's both. He's black and white. So to say he's white is weird. That's the whole thing Rick Ross was doing. So yeah. Also, Drake's dad responded. Drake's dad told Joe Budden to stand down. Now look, if I don't want my daddy to speak for me. Like, be a man, speak for yourself, Drake. If you wanted to respond, then respond. If you don't, then don't. But all this having your dad comment and stuff, and look, that's your dad. He probably sticking up for his son. Yeah, I probably do the same thing. But he's in his 30s. You gotta speak for yourself, dog. You gotta speak for yourself. So yeah, Joe Budden went in today, told us how he really feels, and we'll see if Drake responds. I doubt he will because he really don't pay Joe no mind. I really don't hear him talking about Joe really ever, and he didn't even really respond except for that one track to any of Joe's disses before. So we'll see what happens. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. 7 Day. I'm out.